Are you ready to get from point A to point B in your professional and even your personal life? With his proven 99-day performance accelerator process, this man's no-nonsense approach gets you focused on your real priorities and take the essential actions necessary to your success. International speaker and author of the book, Change Your Life 20 Seconds at a Time. He has coached salespeople and entrepreneurs around the world to achieve tremendous breakthroughs by overcoming obstacles and costly limiting beliefs. Please welcome the man passionate and relentless about you achieving your success, the master of accountability, Mr. Denny Maheux.
Welcome to another episode of Focus180 Podcast, and I hope you're ready because today I'm here with Ryan Vaniski. Ryan has been an artist and entertainer his entire life, working on stage, on film, and in major theme parks across the country. His passion for writing and teaching has led him to author books, articles, and host public speaking events for the past 10 years. Using his talents as a master copywriter and performer, he's a professional voiceover artist speaking for commercials, promos, and even the California Dental Association. Here's Ryan Vaniski. Hey man, how you doing?
Hi, Denny. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well too. And I'm glad that you jumped in and you wanted to do this because I think we're going to talk about what today? We're talking about what?
We're talking about finding your passion
and that's
living
huge.
Your passion.
That's huge. It's something that I do when I coach you. I help people to get the freaking passion. Some people are so lost and some people are doing not what they want. So I'm really happy that we're going to be discussing this today. So Thank you in advance. Guys, if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, get ready because it's going to be pretty valuable. And if you listen to what he says, we never know. Maybe your life change for the better. Hey, I'm just saying.
I hope so.
Hey, Ryan, let's start with something easy to start. Tell us something, maybe if you want to, something that you that most people don't know about you. Not on the business side, personal side.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I got two things I could say. One of them is I've been a performer almost my whole life, and I've performed at Disneyland and Universal Studios, Hollywood, and I even co-wrote and directed a show at Six Flags in St. Louis. But another thing that most people don't really know is that I am a licensed holistic health practitioner. And I used to have a private practice in Southern California, and I would help people be better physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all of that together. And that was a passion in my life.
Really
and
cool.
I've moved on.
No, that's really, really cool. So tell us about your job experience. I know you help people doing this way, but your journey, what were you doing like when you were 20s all the way to here now, just so we know.
Okay, so like I said, I started off performing, and then I say I took a little bit of a wrong turn in my life. I didn't follow my passion, and I went into the corporate world, and I did graphic design for about 15 years. I was a graphic artist, and I produced videos and audio as well. And I had a lot of experience with computers and technology and art. And so I made that a living, and I didn't really enjoy it so much. I wanted to be actively creative, like performing on stage. That's where my passion is. And from that, when my father passed away about 12 years ago, it inspired me to look into the health aspects of being human, because the medical experience that my father had wasn't serving him. And from what I know now, I know that what happened there, it actually caused his death. And that inspired me to go forward and learn everything I could about holistic health and alternative medicine and things like that. And if I knew what I know now before my father died, I probably would have been able to help him have a few more years. So that was my life. And when I moved to Las Vegas, I ended up in a job that was, well, basically really far away from what I'm normally accustomed to, which I became a facilities manager at a retirement community. Can you believe that? But it was a job. I needed a job, and I've retired from that. And now I'm enjoying my life as a voice actor.
Very cool. I thank you for sharing. So let's talk about your business right now. What's the name of it? What do you do?
Well, the name of my business is Oh That Voice. And basically what I do is exactly what I'm doing right here, except without the video. So I get in front of a microphone, I read a script for a business or a corporation or an individual. It could be commercials, training videos, e-learning, even phone messages. Like when you pick up the phone and you hear, "I'm sorry, we're not here at the moment," that sort of thing. And that's what I do. I have a professional studio here, and I do all the editing and mastering for the video or for the audio files, and I deliver it off to the folks.
So why do you do this? Why do you do what you do? I ask this question all the time because we talk about passion, right? So why do you do that?
Why? Because it makes me feel good. So I grew up on the stage in the theater, and for the first maybe 15 years of my life, that was my life, performance. I loved it. And I also spent a lot of time watching cartoons and puppets, like the Muppets, Jim Henson's Muppets. And all of that stuff inspired me. And I loved doing character voices, doing crazy things and mimicking the characters that I would see on television. And when I got older and I started to get experiences with other people in the entertainment industry, I told them I would love to do voiceover work and work in cartoons. And the message that I heard from these people, which was about 20 years ago, was don't even bother. It's a small niche of people. There are only about maybe 100, 200 people in the entire country who do it. And you're not one of them. So don't even bother. And back then, I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. Even though I was on stage, I still didn't have the inner confidence, the personal confidence, because it's different. When you're on the stage, you're putting on a character. You have a totally different persona and you're not yourself. But in real life, I didn't trust me. I didn't really like me. So when I heard that advice, I took it to heart and I just put it away. And at that point, I think that was right around the time when I went into the corporate world.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about voice actors. So what do you do as a voice actor exactly, and what's the work behind? Because I know there's a Muppet there, and you hear the voice. I get this, but what do you really do, and what's the quality you need, or you want to talk about? How does it work?
Sure, there are a lot of different avenues for voice acting. The one that will pay the bills for someone who is lower on the ranks is going to be doing commercials and instructional videos. So a corporation will write up a script for whatever needs to be said. And a voiceover is basically listening to someone speaking while you're watching a video, but you're not seeing that person speaking. You might be seeing images of buildings or other people or something like that, but you still hear the narration behind it. So that would be the work that happens. So a corporation would write the script. They would send it to the voice actor, which would be me. I would look at the script and I would make my own little notes on there so I know to create the correct nuances to make it sound clear and enjoyable and pleasing to the listener. And then I would go into my booth and I would read the script maybe 2 or 3 different times while recording, each time doing it a little bit different. And there seems to be a trend in voice acting for commercials and things like that. And it's conversational. Be conversational. Instead of like the booming announcer voice that there used to be maybe 15, 20 years ago. Now it's more like, I'm just talking to you. We're having this conversation. So buy this toothpaste, really simple like that.
Yeah.
Because when you create that one-on-one connection with people, it makes them feel like they have a responsibility to buy from you, even though you're not even selling it. It's the company selling it, but the voice is representing it. And then I would record that. I would clean it up, change some equalization on there, and then send the file off to the people, and they would throw it into the video, and then it goes out to the world. Now, the other side of things is character. When there are cartoons, when you see cartoons on television, like SpongeBob SquarePants or something like that, they have actors like me go into a studio and they have the whole script. And usually what will happen is there will be almost all of the characters in the show in the same studio at the same time. So everybody is bouncing off of each other. So you're reading the script in whatever crazy voice it is that matches the character that you're doing. And it's the same thing, but it's professionally recorded in a studio with an engineer doing the recording for you. And they edit it all together and put it into the animation. It's the same thing. Now, one more thing, when it comes to puppetry, which actually I am a professional puppeteer as well, you are performing the voice at the same time that you are performing the puppet. And the puppet is up above the head or sometimes in front of the body. And there's a microphone on the face that is projecting out the voice, the character voice. At the same time, you're performing the puppet. And if you've ever seen any backstage video of the Muppets, you would see Jim Henson there, and he had Kermit the Frog up over his head, and he had this big microphone here, and he was looking down at a television monitor. It's an image, a reversed image of himself, so that he can see exactly what he's doing. So I do all three, and I love all of them. And I would say my favorite is probably doing the cartoon characters.
Good. So let's shift a little bit, because you selected to talk about passion, right? So tell me, why is it so important for someone to live their passion, in your opinion? Why is it so important, and why people don't do it actually? So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. Sure. Why?
So living your passion is what we were designed to do. That's why we are put here on this earth. Coming from the holistic background, I have become quite a spiritual person, and I involve myself in things that are not necessarily common in the physical world. We're going a little esoteric here, but our bodies and our hearts and our minds have come here on this earth for a purpose. We have a specific thing that we're really, really good at. And a lot of times we don't acknowledge that. We might know it deep down inside, but we have been taught by our teachers, by our parents, by our friends and television and things like that, that you actually need to go in this direction because this direction is more practical and you're going to be safe over here. Whereas if you take your heart, you listen to your heart, you follow what it is your intuition is guiding you towards, that thing that really lights you up. That's what life is about, being happy, having fun. And when you are fully aligned with that, life just flows. And that's what happened to me. Once I chose to step out of the life that I was living, the practical, safe, and secure life, and move into the life where I was following my dreams, I was living my passion, you know what? Everything started to flow. I describe it as it's like I was riding a wave and the wave was just pushing me along effortlessly. And all of these opportunities kept opening up for me. And I want this for everyone out there. I understand you may love being an accountant. And that's great. But if you are being an accountant just because it's safe, when inside, maybe you actually wanted to play guitar or be a park ranger, you never know. But you have to go inside and listen. You have to ask those questions about yourself and understand, is this really what is bringing me joy in life? Is it the money?
I was just going to say very, very powerful message. We talk a lot, and of course, it's the way I think too. So let's talk. I mean, I agree that you should follow your passion. We know people. So in your opinion, how do we help people to find their passion? Because some people are lost, right? Some people have limiting beliefs. How do we help people to get there? In your opinion?
Yes. Well, what I find is a good majority of society is afraid to follow their passion because they've been told that that's not the safe route. You can be practical and you can get a safe job. You get your degree and you get yourself a good job, and then you have your paycheck and you have your benefits and you have your 401k, and life is good. But if you ask those common people, is your life good? Most of them will say, yeah,
all right.
It's all right. It's all right. But when you talk to the people who are actually living their passion, you can feel this energy that's just oozing off of them because they are living why they need to be here. So one way to help people with that is, first of all, live by example. Be the passion in yourself and share that passion with as many people as you come across, because someone might see you glowing with that joy and happiness, and that might make them think, you know what? Maybe I could do that myself too. And another way to do it would be simply ask the person to go back when you were a child, maybe about 10 to 12 years old, and think about, what was it that you really, really loved to do? What brought you joy at that young age before you knew what the world was actually about and you had to pay taxes and all that kind of stuff? And quite often that is going to lead you in the direction. So for me, that was art and performance. I was an artist. I would draw, I would paint, I would sculpt, and I was on the stage. And that's where I loved my life. And as I got older, like I said, I had all these insecurities in myself. I didn't allow that to flourish in my life. So I spent 20 years outside of my passion. But when you go back and you realize what brings you that joy, what gives you that power, what gets you up in the morning, that is where your passion is. And sharing that with people, getting them to pull that out of themselves and give them an environment to have that courage to live that life, or to at least even consider taking that step. That's where the passion comes from.
Very good. So you did I like your story. I like what you're saying. Obviously, this is really powerful. So you were doing your 20 years of living without your passion, and one day you decided to move to say, you know what, this is it. I'm going for my dreams. That's what you said, right? So what advice could you give to any new people, entrepreneurs, or people let's say they decide like you to make the jump. I'm going for my passion, man. Watch me. What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, there's always the safe side of things, to appease the mind that is afraid of taking a leap of faith. And first of all, have yourself a little bit of savings. Allow yourself a small net so that you can take that jump, and if something happens, you'll still be okay. But mainly, it's about having the courage to know that you will be supported. When you have that energy inside of you, that confidence, that belief, that mindset of, yes, I can do this, I need to do this, that is automatically going to change the world around you. Now, that doesn't sound really practical in an academic sort of way, but from my experience and with a lot of people that I have encountered, it really does change. When you change the thoughts that you have and you have a foundation of solid belief and knowing that this is what I need to do, everything changes around you. People show up, opportunities come right to you, and you know that this is actually what I need to do, and you step forward. Have the courage, have the belief inside. When you feel any sort of doubt showing up, acknowledge the doubt. Don't judge the doubt, and don't try to fix the doubt. Just allow it to be in your mind. Allow yourself to feel that. Acknowledge it and say, thank you, and move on. Go back to that belief. Go back to that strength and that energy inside of you, and let that move you forward. Because anytime you have a doubt, that's going to come right in your face, and it's going to say, stop, you can't do this. Just push it away.
I like it. And let me plug in something like change your life 20 seconds at a time. That's what we're talking about. Actually, if you don't know what I'm talking about, guys, research it. It's a pretty good book. Oops, I said that. Hey, listen, let's go to, are you okay? We're going to go to the success question.
Yeah, sure.
Good. Because these are the questions I ask pretty much everybody. And in your opinion, name 3 characteristics necessary to be successful in following your new passion. I'm looking for 3 words. Which one would you think?
3 words.
Yes, sir.
Well, that would be integrity, compassion, and mindset.
Good. I hear integrity a lot, mindset quite a bit, of course, and compassion is pretty rare to me. So you want to talk a little bit more about what do you mean? What do you want to say by compassion? What does it have to do with success anyway?
Okay, so every one of us have feelings. I'm sure you have feelings, right, Denny?
Well, yeah.
And no matter how tough of a person you think you are, you can still be hurt. You can still feel uncomfortable or like you've been marginalized or something like that. Having the compassion to understand that the person that you're talking to is just like you, they have those feelings that you do, recognizing that and speaking to the people as if you were speaking to yourself, knowing that you're not going to hurt that person. You don't want anyone saying mean or tough things to you. You want someone to be there to support you, especially in a business relationship. You want to have that trust and that rapport, recognizing that this person is here for you. They're not here to take from you. They're not here to hurt you. They're here to embrace you and lift you up at the same time that they are lifting themselves up. So when I was in my holistic health practice, I had encountered a lot of people who had some pretty difficult issues in their life. And I could choose to judge them and say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Or I could choose to say, you know what? I understand. I actually know someone who went through that and they suffered a lot, but here's how I know how to help them. Having the compassion to help people and recognize that they are just a mirror of you, that creates a solid relationship and you feel good at the same time that they feel good. That's why I choose compassion in success.
That's a good word, my friend. Good advice too.
Thank you.
During your transition, when you went from the 20 years to then you follow your passion, I would like for you to tell me, if you can tell the people who are listening, one of the challenges you had to overcome and how you did it.
One of the challenges, well, there were quite a few, but it was basically what I said earlier. It's the doubt.
Oh, doubt.
It's the doubt. It's the not trusting that I'm good enough, not trusting that I will be supported as long as I go for it. and I'd take the risk. Because when you have the belief that you can. It's just like, what was that? Henry Ford, his quote was something like,
if you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
That's right. That's right. It's all inside your mind.
Yeah.
And when you feel it, it's in the heart.
Yeah. And I agree with you, because I'm going to say something. I was rereading I think I read that a few months ago, Napoleon Hill, right? And his second technique or whatever is faith. You got to have some faith. I mean, if you have no faith, you're not going to get anywhere, right? So you got to believe in yourself before you go anywhere. So I agree with this 120%. What makes any sense anyway. So let's talk a little bit about, I like to say no one is perfect, right? We all screw up. We all have some kind of lessons. So in your life, if you will be talking to somebody who wants to transfer or do a transformation of their life, or they want to change their work, or they want to do something to follow their passion, what did you do? And you're going to say doubt maybe again, but I'm sure there's something else that you did. And you say, you cannot do that, because if you do this, you're going to lose money. You're not going to be happy. You might not be healthy. What do you think? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just to say, did you screw up in your life? All these words.
I think the key for me that really helped make it happen was I really didn't tell many people at all about what I was doing, because I knew that if I were to announce this to everyone, a majority of the people that I would tell would probably say, "Ooh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not a wise thing to do. You're not going to make it. You don't know any people. You don't have enough contacts.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah, who do you think you are?" That sort of thing. So I kept it to myself. It was so hard, because I was so excited to tell everybody that I'm doing this, but it's just being stoic, not really sharing it with anybody. And then when it really came the time, and I told a few people, that just miraculously opened up some doors. And then I told a few other key people, and they were in there to support me completely. You got to talk to the right people, but still, I kept it quiet. And I think having that silence, that strength, gave the energy to move forward and make it happen. I think that gave it more power.
Yeah. What's the one thing you do every single day to grow as an entrepreneur or to become a better person in this world?
That would be my inner work.
What does that mean?
That means meditation, journaling.
Okay.
So what I would teach my clients, when your mind is all over the place and you can't focus, and you have all of these thoughts that really aren't serving you, like those doubts that are in there, when you write them down, either with pen, for me, actually typing is better than writing with pen. But when you write down those thoughts, you're actually drawing them out of your ego, taking them out of your mind, and you're putting them down on the paper so that your mind doesn't have to cycle through them anymore. They're gone. They're out. I call it's like a mind flush when you're writing. And then you go into meditation. And meditation is that opportunity for silence, for the peace that most of us here in America really don't get on a daily basis. But when you can take 10, 20, 30 minutes to just be silent and be with yourself, it changes everything. And I could talk for hours about meditation, and I host meditations myself, but there's immense power in that. And I notice, just like people who work out regularly, like you, Denny, you said, I haven't worked out in a couple of days. I really feel it. Mm-hmm. It's the same with meditation. If you don't do it on a consistent basis, it's a practice. It's not a goal for meditation. It's an experience. So I actually heard a couple of days ago, Alan Watts, he was talking about meditation, how it's not a destination. There's no goal at the end, just like music. Music, the point of music is not to get to the end of the composition. It's about playing the song. It's the experience of going through it. You don't want, if it was about getting to the end, you would want the fastest musical talent to work on the song because they would get through it really quickly. That's not it. It's about the experience of the song itself. And that's what meditation is. And I do that every morning, as well as the journaling.
Very
and then
nice.
I have the strength to go about the day because my mind is clear.
Good. So because time is an issue a little bit, we need to rush a little bit, just a little bit. What's next for you, your company, your future? What do you want to do?
Well,
5 years, let's say.
My passion, as I said, is performance, but also directing. When I was in high school, I had an opportunity to direct a musical. It was actually Little Shop of Horrors. And I was thrown into that. I actually put myself into it, but I was thrown into it at the same time. And that is really where I want to go. So I want to take my performance skills with the voice acting that I'm doing and bring that back into the theater. I intend to go back onto the stage and perform and then move on to producing and directing amazing shows. I spent so much time at Disneyland. And those shows are spectacular. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to produce for the regular public.
Nice. What's the best book recommendation and why?
Oh, best book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. That is a really powerful and at the same time a really simple book. It is the 4 key phrases that you hold in your own mind to help you feel more like yourself and to be able to relate with other people. And I'm not going to tell you what they are because I want you to get that book and read it. But it's a passion for me, just listening to those ideas and those agreements that you hold inside yourself.
Thank you. Your favorite quote, you have one?
Yeah, absolutely. Fortune favors the bold.
Tell me more. What does that mean for you?
I heard that probably 20 years ago. I think it might have been a podcast when podcasts were actually starting out. And when I heard that, it was like a punch in the face because I was never being bold. I never chose to do anything extreme because I was afraid, because I didn't have the confidence in myself. But once I heard that, that gave me a totally different perspective on what life is and what I am capable of.
Yep.
And it was that quote also that influenced me to go in the direction that I'm going right now. And I'm totally succeeding at it. And I love it.
Good. Being bold is good. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes max. So put your timer on right now. How do we contact you to buy your service? And you're on.
Okay. So the best and easiest way to find me is to go to my website, which is othatvoice.com. OHTHATVOICE.com. On there, you will find all of my demos, which are like a portfolio of the voice work that I could do. And my contact info is there. You can email me at voice.ryanvaniski.com. And you could also call me at 702-900-3851.
Cool. So, and I might, for the people who don't know, this introduction from this podcast that's your voice, by the way, your voiceover, right? And we might put a little bit like 30 seconds, a minute at the end so people can hear your voice and say, wow, it's pretty amazing. It helps me, by the way, that little introduction. When you go, let's say I don't have anybody to introduce me, I put that little video, I feel like Tony Robbins. I'm working there. It's so important, right? So this is, if you don't have one right now, I would recommend that you get one. If you're a speaker or even if you're a realtor, man, hey, you send an email with that many videos. That would be awesome. That's my opinion. Ryan, don't go anywhere. I'm just going to talk a little bit here. We're going to end up just this little podcast together, right? So guys, hey, we're always looking for speakers. So if you're good at what you do and you would like to speak about what you do, send an email to zeelall. I'm going to put an email address right here. Just click on that. Don't click, but just copy it, write it down, and send a message and tell her what do you want to talk about. It's important that the topic you choose help entrepreneurs and business owners, salespeople. That's very important. So if you want to do that, send an email. I would like to say thank you to you guys who's listening. Take the time. If you learn anything today, if you like this, just subscribe. Push subscribe and push like or do whatever you want. Write a comment to Ryan and say, hey man, good job. Especially if you know him. We gotta encourage each other, right? So the more visibility that we have, the more credibility that we get, the more people that we like. So Ryan Vaniski, I would like to thank you one more time for taking the time. Today is like Friday afternoon. We're all busy. You take the time, you get ready, and I appreciate this. Thank you for the message. I think it's powerful. And man, I give you the last 20 seconds if you want to. Almost
Denny,
the last. Yeah.
I'm grateful for this opportunity, and any opportunity to help people be better and to live their life is wonderful. And that's what you do too. You helped me. I worked with Denny at the beginning of this year, and by working with Denny and the work that we did together, that's why I'm here now. If it weren't for that, I would still be stuck. So I really appreciate you, Denny. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. And guys, I'm going to say see you later and stay focused on what you really, really want. See ya.
At 4Ocean, we're committed to ending the ocean plastic crisis, and we can't do it without you.
At Mini, we believe a great car makes a good driver even better and smarter and happier.
It's time for you to take your business and your life to the next level with Focus180 coaching.
When you buy a Stand for Trees certificate, you are helping to save some of the world's most spectacular forest landscapes.
Searching for the best pizza in the city? Hey, we're right around the corner. At Metro Pizza, we honor the great traditions of America's landmark pizzerias.